Interesting discussion to be had here, and I'd love to know your examples. You can send me a text message at 514-790-0800. On this one, have you started to make the switch? Have you said, I'm not going to buy this American product in light of everything that's happening, right? The threats of tariffs, all of that. Maybe you're just unhappy about Donald Trump. Have you said when you go to the grocery store, not buying this product, I'm switching out, I want to buy local, Quebec, Canadian? Let me know if you've made some changes at the grocery store, because there are a lot of people calling for boycotts of U.S. goods, looking for local alternatives. Let's go to someone who knows a thing or two about the supply chain, where we get our goods, and what impact we actually can have. Sylvain Charlebois, of course, you know him as the food professor from Dalhousie University, is on the line. Sylvain, welcome back to the show.
Well, thank you.
So, easier said than done. What say you on swapping out U.S. for Canada?
Well, it's not that difficult, to be honest. If you go to certain sections, I think you can easily find products from Quebec, products from Canada. The dairy section certainly is very Canadian, very Québécois.
Yep.
The bakery section also is very Québécois. And the meat counter also will have many products, local products as well. At the center of the store, that's when things get a little bit tricky. You have to look for that maple leaf logo. You'll either find a Made in Canada logo or a Prepared in Canada. Prepared in Canada means it was processed in Canada with ingredients from abroad. Made in Canada basically means 98% of the ingredients in that product is Canadian. It was actually manufactured in Canada as well. So overall, if someone really wants to boycott American goods, which is anywhere between 7 to 9% of the population, it's feasible.
And Sylvain, sometimes I feel, though, what people are really talking about is boycotting multinationals. And we sometimes forget that these multinationals have factories in Montreal. You know, I mean, we even had the Prime Minister say, he brought up that story, oh, don't buy the Heinz, get the French's, right, as an example. And then, you know, that caused a little bit of an uproar. Heinz Canada was pointing out, hey, they make it in Montreal.
Especially the plant was actually 10 minutes away from his own riding.
I know.
It was a bit embarrassing.
So it seems like it's a little bit more difficult because, you know, I think you could have your heart in the right place and you say, okay, I won't buy these cookies anymore, but they're baked in Montreal. And, you know, if nobody buys those cookies, Montrealers will be out of a job, right? So I don't know how you handle that.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, if you plan to boycott America, power to you. But it's complicated out there for sure. And that's why I think that the boycott won't be effective, because the boycott may mean something different to different people. So let's go back to the Kraft Heinz example of peanut butter. So right next to the ketchup plant in Montreal, well, you got the Kraft Heinz peanut butter plant. Uh-huh. And so the peanut butter plant there manufactures peanut butter in Montreal, but it carries the American brand and buys peanuts from the United States.
Yep.
So is that American or is that Canadian? So, and people may decide to boycott retailers like Walmart and Costco and Amazon, especially in light of what happened with Amazon in Quebec over the last couple of weeks.
Yes.
So I think it's going to be the impact or the intent to boycott is going to be so diluted that it won't have much of an effect.
And let me just, you know, I just got a text message, right? Been buying French's ketchup for 5 years since Heinz stopped using Canadian tomatoes. But that's now a myth, right? That's not the case. What happened? Why do so many people believe that?
Well, it's just, again, I really don't. I actually like nationalistic boycotts. Why? Because it gets people to think where their food is coming from. And we're having this conversation as well. So people are going to start looking at labels, addresses on packages. And I think that's a good thing. So people realize how integrated our economies are and how tariffs on both sides, perhaps, of the border may impact food prices over time.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the other thing here is price, right? So I have a note from a listener. Would love to boycott American goods. However, I live on a limited income, and I go for the most bang for my buck. If it comes from the States, I'm buying it. So can you do both, Sylvain, in certain instances where you can buy local but also save a few bucks?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, local is not always more expensive. You just got to be careful, and you have to pace yourself as well. You can't just show up at the grocery store and hope that the local option is actually cheaper. So you have to do your homework, depending where you go. You can actually find, we did a couple of projects with Aliments du Québec last year, and only to realize that 57% of the time, out of 134 products, the local option was competitively priced. And so there are options out there for people who actually want to walk away from America for a while.
And, if you were to say, okay, here's how we could hurt the U.S. I don't know if there's one or two segments in that grocery store where you can say we could have a little bit of an impact, or maybe if you had to consult with the Canadian government and tell them where to hit Americans with tariffs. Is there any a place that you would point?
I'm not sure we can, to be honest. We're so small. I actually think that one way we can hurt Americans is by way of trades and some of the inputs that we actually sell. And I'm thinking about fertilizers, machinery, parts for agriculture, those types of things. I actually think that those are the things that will hurt America more. When it comes to consumer goods, we're only 41 million people, and the market is not as affluent as America, so we are replaceable, unfortunately.
Got a message from a listener, Sylvain. We're with Sylvain Charlebois. You know him as the food professor. Mark writes me this. It's 100% not about boycotting American brands or retailers. It should be, at worst, about boycotting products that are produced or manufactured outside of Canada, specifically the USA. Getting to the point there, right? That there's a whole bunch of products, they may have an American brand, but they are still produced, made in Canada. Would you say Mark's comment is on point?
Yeah, absolutely. And so, and of course, if you avoid, so PepsiCo will have 6 plants in Canada. So the Lay's chips that you actually buy at the grocery store, Doritos, are all made in Canada using Canadian potatoes. So if though it's an American brand, if that doesn't qualify for you, then yeah, you're supporting Canadian jobs. But at the end of the day, there's always a Canadian piece to everything you see at the grocery store. If it's not manufactured here, it was transported by someone in Canada, and of course it was placed on shelves by an employee of a Canadian employer as well. So it really depends. If you're committed, go for it. But like I said, it's going to be a minimal number of people actually committed to boycotting, and we don't know how long this is going to last. It may last a day, it may last a year. We don't know.
So let me ask you, how are you feeling about this, the looming tariffs that may come tomorrow, possibly will come tomorrow? How are you feeling in general, Sylvain, about all of this?
Not good at all. I mean, I'm in Calgary right now. I spoke last night to 450 beef producers. 70% of their business goes to the U.S. Do you think they feel great? No, absolutely not. There's a lot of uncertainty, and uncertainty is really bad for business. But here's the other thing that perhaps people haven't thought about. Anything Mexican will actually get more expensive. So we're about 2 weeks away from the Super Bowl, or 1 week away from the Super Bowl. Well, guess what's going to happen to your avocados coming from Mexico? They're going to get hit by 25% going into the U.S., and as they actually cross the border in Canada, if Ottawa decides to slap a 25% tariff on everything, the tariff is going to become 50% on some products.
What?
This is the real deal. This is not good news.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good at all.
Especially for food when margins are extremely low.
Is the low Canadian dollar affecting things as well, Sylvain? I'm looking at that Canadian dollar and I'm wondering how long we can keep this up if it drops and drops.
So there are two things that is keeping me up at night beyond the tariffs. One is the Canadian dollar. It's getting weaker, and so the buying power of our importers is just weakening by the day almost. So that's going to push prices higher at the grocery store. And the other thing are bailouts. I mean, we're talking about bailouts right now to help consumers, and I understand where the government is coming from here, but we saw what happened with COVID. If you actually pour cash into the market, you are likely going to make inflation a bigger problem. And this week, the Bank of Canada cut its rate, and you cut your rate when inflation is a problem. It's not as much of a problem anymore, but if you actually add fuel to the fire, guess what's going to happen to prices? They're going to go up, and 8 months from now, the writing is on the wall. You know, we're going to all blame Galen Weston.
Sylvain, yeah, that's right. The greed of Loblaws.
Exactly.
Sylvain, I hope you can get some better sleep over the weekend. Thank you so much for coming on.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Sylvain Charlebois, the food professor from Dalhousie University.